Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the garage. Man, my lens is dirty. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the garage, welcome back to the 24 valve build, and welcome to a bit of an unboxing tonight. So we are not just unboxing parts, we will be installing them, but first off, we're picking up where we left off last time. So last time on the 24 valve, we got our valve cover installed. We had this off so we could check our valve lash, also to head stud the truck, put our 90 horse flux diesel injection injectors in. We also did our billet tappet cover, which you can't hardly see anymore. We still do have to run a breather or a catch can for that because we will no longer be using the crankcase vent off the front now that we have this nice cover from our man Cole. But also on the front of the truck, we got the front cover all sealed up with new RTV. We also got our new front main seal with wear sleeve on the crank, and we have our new harmonic balancer, our fluid amper with the full power kit fully installed. So now we can finish working our way out of the truck. So that's where all these boxes come in. So as you guys can see, we have three quite large boxes. So we'll start with this one, since as you guys can see it says CSF on there, and on this part of it you can see radiator. So here is our new rad for the truck. So here's our new CSF rad. This is a factory replacement radiator. This is something that we picked up off of rockauto.com. Fairly reasonable for a new rad for this truck. We are replacing ours because if you guys remember, we have a bunch of leak prone areas. We had some drips on the rad itself. It wasn't like leaking profusely or anything, but the rad was leaking. And we had an odor when we originally pulled the coolant. I thought there was oil in the coolant. After we kind of got down to it, I'm pretty sure that this truck had stop leak in it, just from the smell. I think I see a deer off in the distance. How I spotted him while talking to you guys, I'll never know. They just stick out a little more this time of year. That orange coat they get. There's a deer, that's for sure. We had a couple of them in the yard a little bit ago. One definitely had some velvet, growing some horns. Yeah. Man, they are just pretty this time of year. That orange colored coat. Alright, so the fact that I saw that thing out there, yeah, just that orange coat they got this time of year, they just kind of stick out, but that's all the way across the field. I'm really surprised I even saw that. But we had a couple in the backyard a little bit ago, and I guess it was like 3 or 4 of them, and yeah. Ooh. Well, needless to say, I can't wait for summer to be over, because then it's fall, and that means deer season. So anyway, guys, I kind of forget where I was going with all that. Oh, I believe there was stop leak in there, and that's why we had the smell, especially after we got the rad out and we could see the areas where it was leaking. So that leads us to our other box, which is right here. And this, which I'll pull out. So this is our new electric fan sub. So this is actually the Flexolite bolting kit for these second gen trucks. It has all of our little plates for our bottles, like our coolant overflow, and I guess the other's windshield washer fluid. So the reason for the Flexolite fans, I really wasn't, I can still see that deer over there. Anyway, the reason for the Flexolite fans, I really wasn't planning on going this route, but when we found out we were going to need the new rad and that our fan pulley, if you guys remember our previous fan pulley, we had trouble getting the fan off. It was kind of like cross-threaded on. So got me thinking, I said, you know what, I need a rad, I need a fan. I'll just use the 4th gen stuff that we had on the drag truck. And yeah, it'll probably take some custom brackets, all that kind of stuff. Well, needless to say, the stuff on these trucks, these rads and fans are quite a bit wider than the 4th gens, but they're also like almost half as tall. So the 4th gen stuff is just way taller, and really to fit that in here, I think it would have hung way lower than I would have been comfortable with, and it just would have been a complete kind of nightmare. So I'm not saying you couldn't do it, but I just don't think it was really feasible for what I wanted to do. You could do it, but it would probably just be kind of goofy. So I kind of already had the electric fans in my mind and all that, so I said screw it, and we got Flexlite electric fans for the 2nd gen. Now I don't know that the fans are going to be going in tonight. We're going to focus on the radiator and what's in box number 3. This might take a little bit to get unboxed because it just appears to be a block of foam. So as you can see within the block of foam, we discovered an intercooler. So this intercooler comes from On3 Performance. Once again, just like our new Flexlite fans, this is a bolt-in setup for the 2nd gen trucks. On3 Performance, if you guys aren't familiar with them, there's a lot of guys with their factory 3rd gen, or not factory, factory replacement 3rd gen intercooler, making a lot of power, pushing a good bit of boost through those. Very like proven setup. We also have one of their intercoolers in the drag truck, and I always say this because On3 Performance, like this intercooler is probably more than half the price of majority of the big name intercoolers out there. And you know, normally you'd kind of be like, I don't know if I'd feel comfortable with it, but their 3rd gen one definitely has been put through its paces. There's a lot of people you'll see on the forums and whatnot who run them, but I was impressed with the quality of their one that we have on the drag truck. But look at this thing. All these aluminum welds look great. It's a nice thick core. It's definitely what I found, or what I think is probably the best bang for the buck intercooler for a 2nd gen. It's factory replacement, but it's bigger, it's larger, it's just like all the other ones that you can get from the big name manufacturers. So definitely go check out On3 Performance for that. So as you guys can see, we have a multitude of things. Really, it's just 3 big objects. That's why we have, you know, the 3 big boxes, obviously. So we'll get to installing this stuff, or at least the intercooler and the rads where I want to start. If we get to hanging our Flexlite fans, good, but I just want to get us in a good position so the next time we work on the 2nd gen, hopefully we fire the thing up and maybe even take it for a drive. So let's get to mounting this stuff on the truck and see how far we can get tonight. So our intercooler and radiator are in, our transmission oil cooler is bolted up, so is our AC condenser. So everything fits. The On3 intercooler is extremely tight. And by extremely tight, I mean, if you look at the body here, it is very, very tight all the way around. Now, that being said, I did reconsult their website just to double check, and it does say some mild fitting is required, like some bending to get it to fit properly. And for that, they're talking about inside the engine compartment. So if you guys can see down here, our intercooler pipe, which I don't know if you guys can see, but that intercooler pipe is actually touching the body right here. So that metal just comes down, if I can get to it, comes down right here and is touching. So what we'll have to do is actually pry this back, grab a hold of it and pry it back, so that way we can get our intercooler boot on. Not a big deal. I wanted to consult their the website, because it does say some mild, like, trimming and bending, or, well, bending, I think is how they put it, is required. But yeah, it's not something I was expecting. But then again, maybe I just wasn't paying enough attention. On the driver's side, kind of the same, except we have clearance. We probably just need to bend that back a little bit. No big deal. So the CSF radiator went in, no problem at all. That was perfect. Everything bolted right up there. Also, to get the condenser and the oil cooler, or transmission oil cooler in the center here, you probably have just enough room between the intercooler and the radiator. But there is this support right here that goes through there. You'd have to get rid of that. Make your own brackets. It's more of a hassle than I want to do tonight. But that being said, I get the intercoolers tight on the intercooler pipes and all that. That's all well and good. But the guys at On3 Performance, when they built this one, don't get me wrong, all the welds are good. The quality is fantastic. But whoever laid it out didn't do such a bang-up job. So as you guys can see, our oil cooler and condenser are bolted here. If you see that piece of aluminum's kind of tilted, because, well, we kind of had to push and pull things to get everything to bolt up. So if you look at the bottom here, we had to drill another hole for that mount on the condenser. The oil cooler, these two bolt holes, we had to kind of push the one bracket down to get it started, and you can see how far that bolt hole is off of there. That's, yeah, a little much. And then over here, once again, had to drill another hole. And down here, we weren't even on our bracket, so we just kind of shaved this bracket down a little bit and used our bolt to pinch it. Everything's on. I mean, it's not a big deal for our truck, for this truck. But if you're trying to do like a really nice, like, restoration or rebuild, I think you're going to need to spend the money and not cheap out and get the On3 Performance intercooler. Like I said, it's like half the cost of the big guys, and, well, now you know why. Yeah, that stuff's just way off. Like I said, not a big deal for us. Most people are going to eliminate your AC anyway, or some people will, I should say. So for you, it is a good choice. Now, the hold downs that hold it onto the body of the truck, they bolted right up. Now if you look, we have a different bolt with a couple washers. Well, that is supposed to take these bolts right here. Well, our nutserts, our threaded inserts that were on the body, have disappeared. I don't know if when we were taking these out, they just spun and fell. They're supposed to be kind of pressed in the body like this. So I don't know what happened to them. Luckily, I had some nutserts, and now we're running 1/4 bolts. So basically, the rad and the intercooler both bolt up with the same style bolt. The rad's going this way and the intercooler this way. And then on the bottoms, they have the exact same setup, where they sit in these rubber grommets and sit in brackets or holes in the frame. So this little rubber grommet sits in a hole, and then there's a pin in the intercore and in the rad that fits into each corresponding grommet. You just got to make sure you grab them off of your old intercooler and all that. Now if I can get up. All right, so that's all in and done. Like I said, I would like to have hidden this, but we just kind of can't, and I'm not going to mess with it enough to do it tonight, that's for sure. So we are going to work on trying to clearance our intercooler piping, try and get that all bolted up, get the rad all plumbed, and see where we're at. But as you guys can see, that took me way longer than it should have, and it is getting late. right, so we are well on our way to having the truck back up together and running. So I folded the metal out of the sheet metal back out of the way. Really not a big deal. Definitely was able to get enough room for our clamp over, or our piping over here, our intercooler boot. So that's on. We don't have the other one in because our intake horn isn't in, which we're going to wait until after the electric fans are in, and we can get rid of our windshield washer fluid bottle, so on and so forth. On this side, definitely had to do a little bit more bending back, but same thing, not really a big deal. Got that all in. We have plenty of clearance down there. You'll never notice it with the bumper on. Lower radiator hose is on. Everything is buttoned up. Also got the old fan pulley in. This will just be like a giant idler pulley now. And I did grind off well, I cut it with a cutting wheel and then ground off the front of it, so it is nice and smooth, just giving it a little better look. So got everything pretty good. Definitely took us a little longer than expected, a little longer than it should have because of the intercooler situation up front here with kind of mounting this stuff. Really, if I wanted to take the time to do it right, I'd drill different holes, maybe add little extension brackets, yada yada yada. So the On3 Performance intercooler, I'm going to give it like a 9 on quality. It is very nice. The welds are set, they're great. All that kind of stuff. The intercooler piping's good. You have to kind of massage it in there a little bit. As for bolting it up, yeah, this stuff, I'm going to give it a 2 because it's just terrible. Bolting it up to the truck, not a big deal. If you didn't have an AC condenser or this transmission cooler up front, you'd never know the difference. So, yeah, that kind of sucks. But, hey, save a little money in the long run. And, hey, we spent a little more time doing it. I think I got a moth. Oh, it's attacking my shirt. I thought there was a moth attacking me. Anyhow, spend a little more time, a little more effort, but not a big deal. The overall result is just fine. If we're going for like show quality with the air conditioning and all, certainly wouldn't be using this one just because of those particular things. And if you're not going to have an intercooler and you say have a manual transmission, this would be a perfect intercooler for you. You wouldn't have to worry about any of this stuff up front. So anyway, guys, I'm going to leave the upper radiator hose off until we get our electric fans in. So that'll probably be the next thing on here is our Flexlite electric fans, our intake manifold, get the battery back here, and hopefully get this thing fired up. So we're very close. I was actually hoping to be quite a bit further tonight, but it is what it is. And it's getting late. I've got a mess here in the driveway that I need to clean up, especially since I think it's supposed to thunderstorm tomorrow. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're excited to see the second gen back on the road. Hopefully we can actually take it to the track this time, and then also see what the difference is between the track and the draggy. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Please like the video, subscribe down below. Catch you guys on the next one. Get out in your garage, get the wrenching on your truck.